What if greatness isn't measured by the amount of power you acquire, but by the principles you adhere to? Frank Herbert's original Dune often feels like a story about destiny, prophecy, and empires. But Dune, the Duke of Caladan, by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, does something different. It asks us to spend more time with a man that we already know is doomed. Duke Leto Atreides. We already know what happens if you've read Dune, but even knowing, it's fascinating to see the backstory of a man developed. And that story reveals a deeper wonder. How do you lead honorably in a universe that often rewards dishonor? Greetings, legendary readers. Welcome to Larry's Legendary Library, where we explore science fiction, fantasy, and the deeper wonder within them. When we first meet Leto in Dune by Frank Herbert, he's already preparing for Arrakis. We know the trap is coming. But in the Duke of Caladan, it gives us something poignant. It gives us more time. More time on Caladan, more time with Jessica, more time with Paul, time to see what kind of man Leto really is. There is something deeply human about appreciating ordinary moments, only when we realize that they won't last forever. How often do we look back at the seasons of our lives and realize that was Caladan? That was the place we thought would always be there. The deeper wonder here is that temporary nature can make places seem more precious. One of the things I love about Duke Leto is that he seems almost out of place in the Imperium. The Imperium rewards cunning, it rewards ruthlessness, it rewards people who use others. Leto certainly understands politics. He isn't naive, but he repeatedly chooses something else. He chooses honor. He repays for the sins of his father. He takes responsibility for things that seem to be beyond his control. He tries to make them right. His people are not resources. They are people, and they are important to him. And that raises a fascinating question. Is honor practical? Our world often tells us that nice people finish last, that eventually you have to compromise your principles to get ahead. Leto offers another possibility. He shows us that integrity is itself a kind of strength. Maybe trust and loyalty and honor aren't weaknesses at all. They're investments that pay dividends over generations. The tragedy of Leto isn't that he lacks power, it's that he possesses power and still chooses decency and honor. Another thing that this novel explores beautifully is fatherhood. Leto knows that Paul carries extraordinary potential, but he doesn't try to mold him into a weapon. He teaches, he listens, he encourages, and he loves. There is a firmness, but also a gentleness to their relationship that makes everything in Dune hit even harder. Because when we eventually see Paul become Muad'Dib, when we remember where he came from, before he became prophecy, he was someone's son. And before he became a Messiah, he had a father who simply wanted him to be a good man. And I think that's part of the deeper wonder. There's something unique about prequels. We read them knowing what's coming. Every moment with Leto carries an unspoken sadness because we know what's coming. But strangely, that foreknowledge makes these moments all that much more beautiful. It's similar to life. Every season ends, every relationship changes, every chapter eventually closes. Knowing something is temporary doesn't diminish its value, it intensifies it. So what is the deeper wonder of Dune, the Duke of Caladan? I think it's this. Power may shape history, but character shapes people. And perhaps the greatest victories are not military victories or political victories. Perhaps the greatest victory is remaining faithful to your principles in a world constantly inviting you to abandon them. Duke Leto never becomes emperor. He never fulfills prophecy. He never conquers the galaxy. But decades after first meeting him, readers still remember him. Why? Because in one of science fiction's most cynical universes, he dared to be honorable. And maybe that's the wonder of Caladan itself. Not that it was perfect, but that it gave the Imperium one man who showed that leadership and goodness don't have to be enemies. So what do you think? Was Duke Leto's honor his greatest strength, or ultimately his greatest weakness? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I always love to hear from you. As always, thank you so much for watching, and keep exploring the deeper wonder.